Hello everyone, welcome to this video lecture of Geotechnical Engineering. This is Sukamal Ghosh, Assistant Professor, Civil Engineering Department, Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management, JS Group. Till now, we have discussed 3 cases based on Rankine's lateral earth pressure theory. Now in this particular video, we will discuss another 2 cases based on Rankine's lateral earth pressure theory. So what is our case 4? As we discussed in our earlier lectures, that our case 4 is water table present at any depth. Okay. So let me consider a retaining structure which is retaining a cohesionless backfill. Okay. So this is the retaining structure which is essentially a sheet pile. This sheet pile is retaining a cohesionless backfill. This is the top surface of the backfill, and the total height or the depth of the retaining structure is h. Okay. And let me consider at a depth of h1 from the top surface of the backfill, the water table is present. Okay. So suppose here the water table is present. Okay. This is the water table. Okay. And this height is h2. Okay. Now we need to calculate the active earth pressure and the active earth pressure force or the resultant force for this backfill. Now for this portion, okay, suppose this is first layer. Okay, this is first layer of soil and this is second layer of soil. Okay. So for first layer of soil, the unit weight is gamma. Okay. So let us consider for the first layer the unit weight is gamma, and for the second layer the unit weight is gamma saturated. Okay, because water table is present here. Now for this first layer, what will be the effective stress? So the height is h1 and the unit weight is gamma. Okay, so the effective stress is height, that is h1, into the unit weight, that is gamma. Okay, this is for first layer. Okay, it means at depth h1 the active earth pressure, suppose PA1, is equals to Ka into sigma bar, which will be equal to Ka into h1 into gamma. Okay, so this is PA1. So this is the active earth pressure for the layer 1. Okay, so let me draw the pressure distribution diagram for this layer. This is the pressure distribution diagram. Okay, and this value is PA1, which is equals to Ka into gamma into h1. Okay, now you may observe in this particular figure that this first layer is acting as a surcharge on the second layer. Okay, and the surcharge pressure is uniform throughout, and the value of this surcharge will be equal to the effective stress of the first layer. Okay, so this first layer is acting as an uniform surcharge on the second layer. Okay, so this first layer is acting as an uniform surcharge on the second layer. And what will be the value of this surcharge? The value of this surcharge will be equal to the effective stress of the first layer, which is equals to gamma into H1. Okay, so let me write it here. The first layer and the surcharge pressure will be uniform throughout the depth of second layer. Okay, and the value of surcharge, that is Q, will be equal to the effective stress of first layer, which is equals to H1 into gamma. See, so the active earth pressure for the second layer, which is PA2, will be the Ka into the effective stress of first layer. So it will be equals to Ka into H1 into gamma. Okay, so this is PA2. This is PA2. Okay, so here suppose PA2 is acting, and since this is uniform throughout the length of second layer, means throughout the depth of H2, so it is PA2 is equals to Ka into gamma into H1. Okay, now you may observe that the base of this active earth pressure for the first layer and the active earth pressure due to the surcharge is same. Okay, so you may also draw it here. Okay, so let me draw it here. Okay, so this is PA2. Okay, which is equals to also Ka into gamma into H1. Okay, now if you consider the soil of this particular area, you may observe that this soil is fully submerged soil. Okay, so now for this portion of soil, the analysis will be similar to the case 2. Okay, where we have analyzed a fully submerged cohesionless backfill. Okay, so let me rub it first. So here there will be an active earth pressure for the soil, or you can say for the geostatic condition, and also here will be an active earth pressure for the hydrostatic condition or for the pore water. Okay, as we discussed in our case 2, right? So this is for geostatic condition and this is for hydrostatic condition. Okay, so let me analyze what will be the values. So for geostatic condition, the effective stress will be total stress minus pore water pressure, right? So the total stress will be gamma saturated into H2, and here it will be gamma W into H2, right? See, the geostatic condition will be prevalent in the second layer, and in the second layer the height is H2 and the unit weight is gamma saturated. That is why the total stress for geostatic condition will be gamma saturated into H2 and the pore water pressure will be gamma W, that is unit weight of water, into the height of the soil layer. So if you simplify it, you will have gamma submerged into H2. Okay. So for geostatic condition at layer 2, the active earth pressure, that is PA3, is Ka into sigma bar, that is Ka into gamma submerged into H2. Okay, this is PA3. Okay, so let me write it here. So the PA3 is equals to Ka into gamma submerged into H2. Okay. Now, what will be the value of active earth pressure for this hydrostatic condition? See, for the hydrostatic condition, the effective stress will be gamma W into H2. Okay. So, for hydrostatic condition, the active earth pressure for the second layer will be PA4, which is equals to Ka into sigma bar. Now we know in geostatic condition the value of Ka is 1, right? So it will be only 1 into the sigma bar is gamma W into H2. Okay. So the PA4 is equals to gamma W into H2. Okay. This PA4. Now let me write it here. Here the PA4 is gamma W into H2. Now what will be the total active earth pressure? See, the total active earth pressure, is PA1 plus PA2 plus PA3 plus PA4. Okay, and this PA. So if you write all the expression for this active earth pressure, then we will get the total active earth pressure. So let me write it here. The PA1 was, let me check. See, the PA1 is Ka into gamma into H1, and PA2 also Ka into gamma into H1, and PA3 is Ka into gamma submerged into H2, and PA4 is gamma W into H2. Okay. So let me put all the values here. The PA1 is Ka into gamma into H1. The PA2 also Ka into gamma into H1. The PA2 is Ka into gamma submerged into H2, and the PA4 is gamma W into H2. Okay. So if you simplify it, you will have PA is equals to 2 Ka gamma H1 plus H2 into Ka gamma submerged plus gamma W. Okay. So this is the total value of active earth pressure if a water table is present at any depth of the backfill. Okay. Now, since we have calculated all the active earth pressure, or you can say the total active earth pressure, now we need to calculate the resultant forces or the active earth pressure forces. Okay. So for this particular distribution, the active earth pressure force will act here, okay, and this depth will be h1 by 3 plus h2, okay, and suppose this is FA1, okay. Now for this particular distribution diagram, the resultant force will act here, okay, which is FA2, and this depth will be h by 2, okay. Suppose this value is y1, this h2 is y2, okay. Now here also the FA3 will act at a depth of, suppose, y3, which is equals to h2 by 3, okay. Here also it is h2 by 3, and here also FA4 will act at a depth of y4, which is equals to h2 by 3, okay. So let me draw in a better way so that you can understand. See, this is the retaining structure, right? This is the surface of the backfill. This is the water table, okay. This height is h1, this height is h2, okay. Now we have this is PA, right? This is PA1, this is PA2. Now this is PA3, and here will be PA4, okay. So the resultant force will act here, that is FA1. For this particular distribution diagram, it will act here, that is FA2. It will act here, that is FA3, and it will also act here, that is FA4, okay. So this particular depth is, suppose, y1, okay. This depth is y2, this depth is y3, and this depth is y4, okay. So the active earth pressure force FA1 is acting at a depth of y1 from the base, and the active earth pressure forces, that is FA2, FA3 and FA4, are acting at a depth of y2, y3 and y4 from the base respectively, okay. And this y1 is equal to h2 plus h1 by 3, okay. Now y2 is equals to h2 by 2, the y3 is h2 by 3, and also the y4 is h2 by 3, okay. So now how can we calculate the value of this FA, this FA2, this FA3, this FA4? Simple, we just need to calculate the area of the pressure distribution diagrams, right? So the FA1 will be the area of this particular pressure distribution diagram, right? So FA1 will be half into the height, that is h1, into PA1, So what is PA1? PA1 is Ka into gamma into H1. Okay, so ultimate FA1 will be half into Ka into gamma into H1 square. Okay, now what will be the FA2? FA2 will be the area of this particular distribution diagram, or you can say pressure distribution diagram. So it will be height into the base width, that is PA2. So the height is H2 and the base width is Ka into gamma into H1. Okay, so it will be Ka into gamma into H1 into H2. Okay, now what will be the F3? FA3 will be the area of this particular pressure distribution diagram, which will be equals to half into height, that is H2, into the base width, that is PA3. Okay, so half into H2 into, what is the value of this PA3? The value of PA3 was Ka into gamma submerged into H2. Okay, so it will be equals to half into Ka into gamma submerged into H2 square. Okay, now what is the value of this FA4? It will be the area of this particular pressure distribution diagram. So it will also be half into height, that is H2 into PA4. Okay, so half into H2. What was the value of PA4 that we have derived? It was gamma W into H2. So it will be half into gamma W into H2 square. Okay, so what will be our total active earth pressure force, or the total resultant force? So the total resultant force, that is Fa, will be Fa1 plus Fa2 plus Fa3 plus Fa4. Okay, and if you put all the values here, then we will get the total resultant force. So the value of Fa1 is half Ka gamma H1 square. The Fa2 is Ka gamma H1 into H2 plus Fa3 is half into gamma submerged into H2 square, and the value of Fa4 was half into gamma W into H2 square. This is the total resultant force, or the total active earth pressure force. Okay, now it is acting where? It is acting at a depth of y bar from the base of the sheet pile. And what is the value of this y bar? Y bar will be equal to Fa1 into y1 plus Fa2 into y2 plus Fa3 into y3 plus Fa4 into y4, whole divided by the Fa1 plus Fa2 plus Fa3 plus Fa4. Okay, so this is y bar, means the depth where this total resultant force Fa is acting from the base. Okay, so you may observe that in all the cases we have dealt till now, we calculate the Pa, that is active earth pressure, and the Fa, that is active earth pressure force. But we can also calculate the passive earth pressure or the passive earth pressure force, that is Fp. We just need to replace the Pa by Pp. Okay, and also the Fa by Fp and the Ka by Kp. Okay, it means suppose you want to calculate the PP, okay, instead of PA, then what can we do? Then we need to replace the KA by KP, and thus we can calculate the PP, okay, and we also need to replace the FA by FP. This FP is the resultant force, or you can say the resultant passive earth pressure force, okay. So this FP is resultant passive earth pressure force, okay. Now as per sequence, next we should discuss the case 5, but we will discuss the case 6 first, then we will discuss our case 5, okay. So what is our case 6? If you recall, we have discussed that our case 6 is analysis of inclined backfill, okay, inclined backfill surface, okay. See, till now for all the cases that we have analyzed, the surface was not inclined, but in this particular case, though the backfill has a plane surface, but the surface or the top surface is inclined, okay. So let me consider, we have a retaining structure which is essentially a sheet pile, okay. This is a retaining structure, okay. And this retaining structure is retaining an inclined backfill, okay. So this is an inclined backfill. So this is an inclined, or you can also write as sloping backfill surface, okay. Now this surface is inclined at an angle of beta with the horizontal, okay. So with the horizontal at an angle beta, it is inclined, okay. Now if you want to draw the pressure distribution diagram for this particular case, then how can we draw? See, we can draw in this way. Okay, and this angle will be with the horizontal is beta, okay. Now if the height of this retaining structure is h, and if the unit weight of the soil is gamma, then the effective stress will be gamma into h, and the active earth pressure will be Ka into effective stress. So it will be Ka into gamma into h, okay. For inclined backfill surface, the active earth pressure is Ka into gamma into h, okay. Now if the angle of shearing resistance is phi, then the value of coefficient of earth pressure, that is Ka, for this case can be given by cos beta into cos beta minus whole root over cos square beta minus cos square phi divided by cos beta plus whole root over the cos square beta minus cos square phi. Okay, where phi is, let me write it here, angle of shearing resistance. Okay, and what will be the value of the resultant force? It will be the area of pressure diagram. Okay, and see, this is a triangular distribution, and the value of active earth pressure here, that is PA, and PA is Ka into gamma into H, and the height is H. Okay, this height is H. So the area will be half into H into PA, and the PA is Ka into gamma into H. So the value of resultant force or the resultant active earth pressure force will be half into Ka into gamma into A square. Okay, so this is the resultant active earth pressure force for an inclined backfill surface. Okay, so this is it for today. In our next lecture we will discuss our case 5. Till then, stay safe and stay happy. Thank you.